Man, Ronald, what's up, man? The last time we chopped it up on camera was at Hoover Park with OG London. Yeah. And we got some good Hoover family history on that one.
Yeah. Well, I got myself personally. I always look at when we talk about the 20s, and I talk about when I was growing up. There's no way that I can discuss neighborhood or have somewhat of a means of a memory of neighborhood and not remember Hoover family. My big homies is both the Hoover families and the neighborhoods. They just came from two different areas of the 20s.
The Hoover families based in Hoover Park, and the neighborhoods were just kind of like Budlong, Washington and Budlong?
Washington and the South Normandy area by the cemetery around there.
Just south of the cemetery, right?
Yeah, south of the cemetery. When I was a kid, I remember we used to go to Normandy Park. As a child, that was a long time ago, man. That was in the 70s.
I remember OG Red telling me they used to post up on Cordova a lot.
Cordova, that's over there by Normandy.
Two different histories, right, for the Hoover Park and the in-hood.
You know how it works? It's like this here. Take into consideration the size of the area. So in reality, there's enough space where if this was farther up in the city, if we go farther south in the city, there would have been about 5 or 6 different sets in that between them areas, just between what was occupied by neighborhood and family. Because what we talking about, 1.5 miles, something like that there, from Washington and Normandy, or maybe Western and Washington to Adams and Hoover, or maybe even Figueroa and Adams. We talking about that's about 2.5 miles. If we start talking in total area, if we talk total area, we're talking a whole lot more. The only reason I wasn't from family because I didn't play at Hoover Park. I grew up on Dalton Avenue. I didn't grow up on in the Vermont area. So I went to 24th, associated with, you know what I mean, those that lived in the area, and was more or less influenced by those that lived in the area from neighborhood. But the only difference was that there's two different sides. The neighborhood came out of the area of Blood Alley. Okay, I was born in New York in '67. I was brought to LA in '68. We lived on the east side then. I remember being a kid, when I was real little, we lived downtown LA. That was a long time ago, and all the movie theaters was down there. But my father, they call my father New York. Everybody on the east side knew him on the bottoms. But my father used to be all over the low bottoms. That was his area where he ran at, you know what I mean? He was a hustler. He hustled with all them old guys down there, you know what I mean? Ever since he came to LA, that's always been the area of town that he was in. So you know what I mean? But you know how eventually what you do is, and everybody does this, you don't live in the same area where you hustle at. You always take your family somewhere else, somewhere to be what might be considered to be a better area, or wherever you can find better means of living at, to where you can witness and see so much going on that you might say, well, I don't want to have my kids exposed to all this or all these people here, like a lot of homies in the neighborhoods do. They move out and say, well, damn, they shooting and killing down here. Let me move to Lancaster. Let me move to Palmdale. Let me move to San Bernardino, somewhere else where the means and ways of living is kind of different. It might be even considered to be a little bit safer at that moment.
So you spent a lot of your early childhood on the east side.
You figure we moved to 116th in town around maybe my kindergarten, maybe before kindergarten. We moved there about that time, right? But before that time then, I had always been on the low bottoms with my father. You know what I mean? Like I said, he always been there ever since we came to Los Angeles. He's been on the low bottoms. So then you figure maybe about 4 or 5 or so, we moved to 116th in town. Then when I was about 7, we moved to the west side.
When you got to 24th Street, were some of the homeboys that you would grow up with already there?
There was everybody that went to a lot of us crazy went to 24th. Who else? I think I went there with Fat Man. Who else? All the Deuce Fives went to 24th with me. Who else? A lot of them. It's just, depending on what street you lived on, determine what school you went to. The school districts divided up right where I lived at. Now, Had I lived by Brighton, around Normandy, I probably would have ended up going to Vermont. It's the same way that if I lived one block up on 29th, I probably would have ended up going to Fauché.
Do you go to 24th up to the 6th grade?
Yeah.
Okay. And by the time you were in the 6th grade, you already kind of
was
repping the
yeah.
neighborhood in elementary school. Why do you think you started repping the neighborhood so young? Was it because you had those 2 older brothers?
Partially that, but I didn't hang out with my brothers. Somewhat I did, somewhat I didn't, but my own affiliation and my own associations, because it's what was going on around us. And as we started to grow, you know, we had, like, for instance, let's say like them, my brothers and them, they out in the world doing what they doing. I'm looking up to a lot of the older guys here, and some of the guys is the guys that they hanging out with. Then I'm looking up to my brothers also. So my availability to association hanging out with them was limited because I would see them at home. Then at the same time, for whatever might transpire in the world, they don't want to be responsible for when it comes to dealing with me. When I was 11, man, I think I was 11 years old, I was with my brothers, and we went to a party. And I never will forget, man, I never will forget, we caught ourselves walking to Dinker Park.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description. Thanks for watching StreetTV.net.